So there's Zark, 8 feet of scaled muscle and predatory instinct, crouched in the cockpit of his Hunter-class starship, practically drooling over what he thinks is going to be the easiest payday of his career. And when I say drooling, I mean literally drooling, because Vorthak physiology is just gross like that. Target acquired, he hisses to himself, because apparently talking to yourself is universal across all species. His reptilian eyes scanned the readout on his hunting console. One small human. Age classification, juvenile. Threat level, laughable. Bounty value, 50,000 credits. Now, you have to understand something about the galactic community's opinion of humans at this point in our story. To most alien species, humans were basically the golden retrievers of the cosmos. Sure, they were cute in their own weird furry way. And yeah, they had opposable thumbs and had figured out faster-than-light travel, but they were fundamentally harmless. The kind of species that would apologize for existing and offer you tea while you robbed them. Zark had been tracking this particular human specimen for 3 standard cycles across 2 solar systems. The kid had somehow gotten separated from what the galactic database is referred to as a family unit camping expedition. Easy money. Grab 1 lost human child, collect bounty from the underground exotic pet trade, retire to a nice beach planet somewhere with decent thermal vents. He lands his ship in a clearing on this backwater planet called Earth. Designation 47B, or as the locals called it, Montana. The ship's landing thrusters barely whisper as they touch down, because Zark is a professional, and professionals don't announce their arrival with unnecessary noise. The planet is disgustingly green and humid, with that particular stench of organic life that makes civilized species gag. Trees everywhere, like some kind of plant apocalypse had occurred. And the sounds. By the void, the sounds. Chirping, buzzing, rustling, like the entire ecosystem was having a very loud conversation about absolutely nothing important. Zark checks his plasma rifle one more time, even though he knows he won't need it. Humans were notorious pacifists. The kid would probably come willingly once Zark explained the situation. Maybe even thank him for the adventure. He activates his cloaking field and steps out into what humans quaintly called the great outdoors. The irony wasn't lost on him that the species that conquered half the galaxy still got excited about sleeping in synthetic shelters surrounded by dirt and insects. His sensors ping, target located, distance 200 meters, moving slowly through the forest, apparently searching for something. Zark grins, which on a Vorthak looks like someone crossed a crocodile with a very satisfied shark. This was going to be the easiest 50,000 credits he'd ever earned. So Zark stalks through the underbrush like the apex predator he absolutely believes himself to be, following his scanner's ping toward what should be a terrified, lost little human child. What he finds instead is Tommy Henderson, age 8, sitting cross-legged next to a fallen log, having what appears to be a very serious conversation with a pine cone. "I know you're there," Tommy says without looking up, and Zark nearly trips over his own tail because... What? His cloaking field is military-grade, nothing should be able to detect him. Zark decides to go with intimidation. He deactivates the cloak and rises to his full 8 feet of terrifying alien death machine. Plasma rifle gleaming, razor-sharp claws extended. His voice comes out as a bone-rattling growl that has made entire space stations surrender without a fight. "Surrender, small human. You are now my captive." Tommy looks up with the kind of bright, innocent smile that should be reassuring but somehow isn't. "Oh, hi. Are you here about Mr. Whiskers too?" This is not going according to plan. Zark tries again, adding some theatrical arm gestures because intimidation is an art form. "I am Zark, of the Vorthak Empire. You will come with me or face the consequences." "That's a really long name," Tommy observes, tilting his head like a curious puppy. "Do people call you Zarky?" "I bet they do. You look like a Zarky." Nobody in the entire history of Zark's career has ever called him Zarky. He's killed beings for less than that. But somehow, coming from this small human, it just sounds, well, it doesn't sound terrifying, which is the problem. "I do not answer to diminutives, child. Now stand up so we can proceed to my vessel." "But I can't leave yet. I have to find Mr. Whiskers." Tommy starts looking around the forest floor again. He wandered off during nap time, and he gets cranky when he's hungry. Zark's professional instincts are starting to tingle, and not in a good way. "What exactly is this, Mr. Whiskers?" "He's my best friend. We go everywhere together." Tommy's voice has that matter-of-fact tone that children use when explaining something completely obvious. He's about yay big, really fluffy, and he has the prettiest teeth. Super sharp, and he glows sometimes, which is weird because the grown-ups say nothing around here glows. Now, Zark has been in this business long enough to know that when something doesn't add up, you pay attention. The forest around them is too quiet. Like, unnaturally quiet. No bird sounds, no insect chatter, nothing. Just the sound of Tommy humming what might be a lullaby if lullabies were supposed to make your scales crawl. Child, perhaps we should discuss this, Mr. Whiskers, later, after we've reached my ship. Tommy looks up at him with those wide, innocent eyes. Oh, you have a ship? That's so cool. Is it the big metal one that scared away all the forest animals when it landed? They don't usually run away like that. Usually they just disappear. The way Tommy says disappear makes Zark's hunting instincts shift from stalking prey to, maybe I should be watching my back. You know what? Tommy says, hopping to his feet with the boundless energy that only human children possess. I'll help you find whatever you're looking for if you help me find Mr. Whiskers. That's fair, right? Zark blinks his secondary eyelids, which is the Vortak equivalent of a confused double take. I am not looking for anything, small human. I am here to collect you. Collect me? Tommy giggles, and it's the kind of sound that should be delightful but somehow makes Zark's plasma rifle feel inadequate. Like a Pokemon? That's silly. Nobody collects people. I am a bounty hunter. Collecting people is literally my profession. Oh. Tommy considers this with the seriousness of a child processing new information. Well, that's not very nice. Did you ask my parents? Because they're really particular about stranger danger, and bedtimes, and eating vegetables. This conversation is deteriorating rapidly, and Zark decides to cut to the chase. Your parents are not here to object. You are alone and lost. I'm not lost, Tommy corrects him cheerfully. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Mr. Whiskers and I always come here when we want to play with the other visitors. Other visitors. That phrase lands in Zark's consciousness like a brick through a window. What other visitors? Urges. But before Tommy can answer, something rustles in the bushes behind them. Zark spins around, weapon ready, expecting to see another bounty hunter or maybe some local wildlife. Instead, he watches a creature that looks like a cross between a bear and a blender scramble up the nearest tree as fast as its claws can carry it. Now Zark knows his xenobiology. That was a Terran direwolf, and they don't climb trees. They also don't run from anything smaller than a tank. But there it goes, whimpering as it disappears into the canopy like something just scared it senseless. Oh, that's just Bruce, Tommy says, waving at the rapidly retreating predator. He's been here for a few days now. Ever since the last visitor stopped moving around so much. The last visitor stopped moving around so much. Zark's translator struggles with that phrase because surely it doesn't mean what it sounds like it means. Tommy, Zark says slowly, what happened to the last visitors? They may played hide and seek with Mr. Whiskers. They're really good at hiding now. Wanna see? Before Zark can answer, Tommy starts skipping deeper into the forest, humming that not quite right lullaby again. And here's where Zark makes his first really big mistake. He follows him. Because 50,000 credits is 50,000 credits, and how dangerous could one human child actually be? As they walk, Zark starts noticing things that his predator brain really doesn't like. The trees around them have scratch marks way too high up to be from any local fauna. There are scorch marks on some of the bark that look suspiciously like plasma burns. And every few meters there are small piles of what might be personal belongings. A boot here, a communicator there, what looks like part of a galactic standard hunting rifle over there. Maybe a hunting rifle, a torch, vibrator glasses, a sound speaker's flat qualities got to the unamplified hum of a motor. Tommy, Zark tries again. Exactly how many visitors have you and Mr. Whiskers played with? Tommy stops skipping and turns around, that innocent smile still plastered on his face. Oh, lots. Mr. Whiskers really likes making new friends. He gets so excited that he sometimes forgets to be gentle. Now, any sensible predator would have turned around at this point and found a nice safe career in accounting. But Zark is committed to this whole bounty hunter thing. Plus, he's already spent the credits mentally on that beach planet retirement plan. So he keeps following Tommy, deeper into what is clearly becoming less enchanted forest and more outdoor horror museum. Tell me more about Mr. Whiskers, Zark says, trying to keep his voice casual while his scales are practically standing on end. What kind of creature is he exactly? Oh, he's not really a creature, Tommy explains, ducking under a low branch that's been snapped in half by something with considerable force. Daddy says he's my imagination, but that's silly, because imaginary friends can't leave bite marks. Bite marks. Right. Zark files that under things I really didn't want to know. They come to a small clearing, and Tommy claps his hands together with pure delight. Oh good, Mr. Whiskers has been redecorating. What Zark sees in that clearing makes his professional composure crack like cheap armor. There's a campsite. or what used to be a campsite before something turned it into abstract art. Tents are shredded and scattered like confetti. A portable generator has been twisted into something resembling a metallic pretzel, and there's a hoverbike embedded 3 feet up in a tree trunk, still humming with power. The Corvani brothers were here last week, Tommy says conversationally, picking up a plasma grenade that's been bitten in half. They were really mean. They kept pointing their shooty things at me and using words that would get me in trouble if I repeated them. Zark stares at the bitten grenade. Plasma grenades are made of reinforced tritanium. Nothing in the known galaxy has teeth strong enough to bite through tritanium except for maybe a void leviathan, and those things live in the vacuum between stars. Tommy, where exactly are the Corvani brothers now? Playing hide and seek. They're super good at it. Want me to call them? Before Zark can stop him, Tommy cups his hands around his mouth and shouts, "Krav, Gorth! Come out, wherever you are!" The response comes from underground, a muffled thumping, like something very large trying to dig its way out of a very deep hole. Then silence. "They're still learning the rules," Tommy says apologetically. "Mr. Whiskers had to put them in timeout because they weren't playing nice." Zark's scanner starts going haywire, picking up massive biosignatures all around them. Except there's nothing visible, nothing but Tommy, still smiling that innocent smile that's becoming less charming by the second. "Child," Zark says carefully, "I need you to tell me exactly what Mr. Whiskers looks like." "Well, he's really big and fluffy, like I said, and he has lots of eyes, which is useful for playing hide and seek, and his teeth are super pretty when they catch the light. Oh, and he can turn invisible, which the grown-ups say is impossible, but grown-ups say lots of things that aren't true. Turn invisible, of course." Zark glances at his scanner again, and those massive biosignatures are moving, circling them. "And the best part," Tommy continues, completely oblivious to the fact that Zark is now sweating through his scales, "is that he only eats the mean people. He's very good at telling who's mean and who's nice. He says it's something about how they smell when they're scared." Zark realizes with growing horror that he is in fact scared, very scared, and if this Mr. Whiskers creature can smell fear, then he's basically marinating himself in his own terror. "Tommy," he says slowly, "I think perhaps we should head back to my ship now." "Oh, but we haven't found him yet, and he'll be so disappointed if he doesn't get to meet you. He's been watching you since you landed." Since he landed. Zark's head snaps up, scanning the trees, looking for any sign of movement. His cloaking field, his military-grade sensors, his advanced weaponry, all supposedly top-of-the-line equipment. And something has been tracking him this entire time. That's when Tommy reaches into his backpack and pulls out what Zark assumes must be the stuffed animal he's been looking for. Except, it's not stuffed. It's very clearly real fur, matted with something dark and crusty. And it has too many limbs, and some of those limbs are still twitching. "Found him," Tommy announces cheerfully, holding up what appears to be a mutilated alien creature that Zark's database identifies as a hunting maw from the Andromeda sector. "He was having a snack, aren't you, Mr. Whiskers?" The thing in Tommy's hands makes a sound like a garbage disposal having a conversation with a chainsaw. And that's when Zark's survival instincts finally override his greed. 50,000 credits suddenly seems like a very small amount of money compared to continuing to exist in a corporeal form. "You know what, Tommy?" Zark says, backing away slowly while trying to keep his voice steady. "I just remembered. I have somewhere very important to be. Literally anywhere else." "But you can't leave yet," Tommy protests, and for the first time he actually sounds like a disappointed child instead of a harbinger of doom. "Mr. Whiskers hasn't properly introduced himself. He's been so looking forward to meeting you." The mutilated creature in Tommy's arms makes that chainsaw garbage disposal noise again, but now it sounds almost conversational, like it's agreeing with Tommy, which is impossible because hunting maws don't have vocal cords, and also because this one appears to be missing most of its head. Zark starts walking backward toward his ship, weapon drawn, while Tommy follows him with that same innocent skip, except now the forest around them is making sounds, rustling sounds, breathing sounds, sounds that suggest something very large is keeping pace with them through the trees. "Tommy, I really need to go. My ship has a very strict departure schedule." "That's okay, we can walk you there. Mr. Whiskers loves spaceships. He's always excited to see how they work from the inside." How they work from the inside. Zark's imagination helpfully provides several scenarios for what that might involve, none of which end with his ship remaining functional. They're about halfway back to the clearing when Zark's scanner finally gives up trying to make sense of what it's detecting and just starts displaying error messages in 3 different languages. Then it begins smoking. Then it catches fire. Then it melts. "Oh, that happens sometimes," Tommy says conversationally. Mr. Whiskers gets excited and forgets to keep his energy field contained. Daddy says it's like when I get hyperactive and break things, except Mr. Whiskers breaks physics. Breaks physics. Wonderful. Zark's day is now complete. They reach the edge of the clearing where his ship waits, and Zark has never been happier to see that beautiful, functional, non-melted piece of technology. He breaks into a run, which turns out to be a mistake, because running apparently triggers Tommy's enthusiasm. Oh, are we playing chase? I love chase. Mr. Whiskers is really good at this game. Something massive crashes through the trees behind them, something that sounds like it has way too many legs and absolutely no regard for the structural integrity of the local flora. Zark risks a glance over his shoulder and sees nothing. Just Tommy, still skipping along cheerfully while trees bend and snap around him as if being pushed aside by an invisible freight train. Zark reaches his ship and starts frantically inputting his access codes. His hands are shaking so badly it takes 3 tries to get the biometric scanner to recognize his claws. Behind him, Tommy has stopped at the edge of the clearing and is having what appears to be a serious conversation with empty air. What's that, Mr. Whiskers? Oh, you want to see the inside? I don't know, we should probably ask first. Mommy says it's rude to go into people's houses without permission. The ship's airlock finally opens, and Zark practically throws himself inside. He slams the emergency close button and initiates immediate launch protocols. The engines roar to life, and he's never been more grateful for the speed of Vorthak military engineering. Through the view screen he can see Tommy waving goodbye with one hand while holding that nightmare creature with the other, and just for a split second as the ship lifts off, Zark swears he sees something else. Something massive and translucent and covered in way too many teeth. Also waving goodbye. Come back soon, Tommy calls after him, his voice somehow carrying over the roar of the ship's engines. Mr. Whiskers really liked you. He says you taste scared, and that's his favorite flavor. Zark doesn't stop accelerating until he's cleared the planet's atmosphere. Then its gravity well, then the entire solar system. Only when he's 3 star systems away does he finally allow himself to breathe normally. He pulls up his ship's communication array and begins composing a message to the Galactic Bounty Hunters Guild. Under threat assessment he types, "Abandon all missions involving human children immediately. Update species classification from harmless to existential nightmare. Recommend orbital bombardment from safe distance." Then he deletes that and types, "Mission unsuccessful. Target proved incompatible with standard collection protocols." Because nobody would believe the truth anyway. 3 standard galactic days later, Zark is sitting in a cantina on Proxima Station, nursing something alcoholic and trying to convince himself that what happened on that backwater planet was just a stress-induced hallucination. Maybe he'd been working too hard. Maybe he'd been exposed to some kind of psychoactive spores. Maybe he'd finally cracked under the pressure of being a professional killer for hire. That's when his communicator chirps with an incoming message from the Guild. Priority Alpha, galaxy-wide broadcast. "Attention, all bounty hunters," the message begins, and Zark recognizes the voice of Guildmaster Vrex, a Throanian with all the personality of a malfunctioning droid. "We have received multiple reports of failed collection attempts involving human juvenile specimens. 17 hunters have reported equipment failures, psychological trauma, and in 3 cases complete memory loss regarding their missions." 17 hunters. Zark nearly chokes on his drink. He's not the only one who's encountered Tommy or someone like Tommy. Additionally, the message continues, "We have lost contact with the Corvani brothers, the Zeldan twins, and the infamous solo hunter known as Grimjaw. Their last known locations all correspond to the same planetary system. Effective immediately, all contracts involving human children are suspended, pending further investigation." Zark stares at his communicator. The Corvani brothers, he remembers Tommy mentioning them. They're playing hide-and-seek underground now, apparently still learning the rules. But here's where the story gets really interesting, because while Zark is having his existential crisis in a spacebar, let's check in on Tommy's family. "Tommy, sweetie, did you have fun exploring the forest today?" asks Martha Henderson, a perfectly normal, suburban human mother who believes the most dangerous thing in their campground is the possibility of poison ivy. "Oh yes, Mommy, I made a new friend. His name is Zarky, and he was really tall and scaly and had a big gun. Mr. Whiskers liked him a lot." Tommy's father, Dave, looks up from where he's struggling with their portable camping stove. "That's nice, son. Did you remember to thank Mr. Whiskers for keeping you safe while you were playing?" "Aha. And I found 3 more treasures for my collection." Dave nods absently while Martha continues unpacking their supplies. Neither of them seems concerned that their 8-year-old has apparently been collecting treasures from mysterious visitors in the forest. This is because Tommy has been doing this for years, and they've learned to just go with it. What kind of treasures this time? Marta asks with the practiced patience of a parent who's heard this story before. A shiny gun thingy, some kind of computer that tasted like metal when Mr. Whiskers licked it, and a really pretty badge with funny writing on it. The badge Tommy pulls out of his backpack reads Galactic Bounty Hunters Guild, Elite Status in 17 different languages. It's covered in bite marks. That's wonderful, dear. Make sure you wash your hands before dinner. Now, you might be wondering how Tommy's parents can be so oblivious to the fact that their child is apparently some kind of supernatural apex predator magnet. The answer is beautifully, terrifyingly simple. They think it's normal. Because here's the thing about humans that the galaxy is just starting to figure out. Every human child has an imaginary friend. Every single one. And human parents just accept this as part of childhood development. They don't question it when little Susie has tea parties with Princess Sparkles, or when little Billy builds pillow forts to hide from the monster under the bed. They certainly don't question it when little Tommy plays hide-and-seek with Mr. Whiskers. What the galaxy doesn't understand yet is that human imagination is not actually imagination. It's a dimensional rift that human children naturally create and maintain until they're old enough to be told that such things are impossible. Most imaginary friends are harmless interdimensional tourists just passing through. They eat cookies, attend tea parties, and listen to children's problems with the infinite patience that only beings from outside reality can possess. But sometimes, very rarely, a child makes contact with something from the spaces between spaces. Something hungry. Something that views our reality as an all-you-can-eat buffet and the child as its personal invitation to dinner. Tommy Henderson is one of those rare children. Mr. Whiskers is one of those rare things. And the best part? Tommy's going to grow up completely normal. In about 10 years, he'll stop believing in Mr. Whiskers, the dimensional rift will close, and Tommy will become a perfectly ordinary human who maybe goes into accounting or marketing or elementary education. He'll never remember any of this. Mr. Whiskers, on the other hand, will just wait, because beings from outside reality are very, very patient, and there are always more human children with active imaginations. Meanwhile, back on Proxima Station, Zark's communicator chirps again, another guild-wide broadcast. This one's from the Galactic Senate, and it's marked Urgent Species Reclassification. Attention all member worlds. Effective immediately. The species designation for Homo sapiens has been updated from harmless scavengers to avoid at all costs. New xenological data suggests that human offspring may possess reality-altering capabilities that pose a significant threat to galactic stability. All contact with human children is hereby prohibited, under pain of being fed to whatever nightmare creatures they happen to be friends with this week. Zark finishes his drink and orders another. And another. Because sometimes, when you've stared into the abyss and discovered it has way too many teeth and calls a human child friend, alcohol is the only rational response. Somewhere in a Montana forest, Tommy Henderson is roasting marshmallows over a campfire and telling his parents about his exciting day. Mr. Whiskers purrs contentedly in dimensions that don't technically exist, already looking forward to tomorrow's adventures. And across the galaxy, 17 different species quietly remove Earth from their list of potential invasion targets.